Welcome back to Anfield Wire. Big Liverpool updates today. Arne Slot drops a fresh injury update on Alexander Isak, Virgil van Dijk makes a gutted admission, and the debate around Liverpool's huge summer spending heats up. Plus, exclusive insight on Jurgen Klopp and more. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a daily Reds update right here on Anfield Wire. Arne Slot provides update on Alexander Isak's potential return from injury. Arne Slot has provided an update on when Alexander Isak could potentially return from injury. Liverpool's number 9 has not played since December, when he underwent surgery on the ankle injury that included a fibula fracture he sustained while scoring in the 2-1 win at Tottenham Hotspur. Last week, LiverpoolFC.com published photos of Isak undertaking his ongoing rehabilitation program, and Slot was asked about the striker's recovery during his pre-Nottingham Forest press conference. The head coach said, "Alex, I think he has been on the pitch now, not with his football shoes but with his running shoes, for the first time this week, so that will still take a while as well before he is ready to play for us again." See every word Slot said about Isak on Thursday below. On how much of a mental boost being able to be back on the pitch has been for Isak. "I'm not sure if I educate you now, but it's not that, before they go on the pitch, that they are just laying in bed 24 hours a day. They also come to the training ground and do their work and do their gym work and do their rehab already. But I think it's nice for him to go on the pitch. It's nice for us to see him there because there's still a lot of work to be done. But you do know, as a player, you arrive in the final stages of your rehab when you get back onto the pitch, where as long as you're in the gym you are not on the pitch yet. That's not the nicest part. But the next step is, of course, doing work with the ball, which every player likes most, and then the next step is going into the group, and then it takes a while before you're ready to play. But it's nice that the rehab goes well. That's a compliment for him but also to our medical staff. On whether being able to get back playing before completing a full preseason will be a fresh start for Isak. That's going to give us a different player than we've had until now. But we're also expecting a different player in the end of the season than the one we had in the first part, which makes complete sense because I've said it 100 times, I think, that we have to give him time. If a player has been out for 4 or 5 months only with individual training, you cannot expect that, at the level we are playing here, he is up to speed straight away. So, unfortunately for him and for us, we haven't used the best Alex yet, but this club and our fans will see the best Alex hopefully this season, but for sure in the upcoming years. On whether he now has a better idea on a timescale for when Isak will be able to rejoin the squad. Yes and no. I think we all know when the moment you go onto the pitch, that it doesn't take 3 months anymore. But these final stages of rehab are also the ones that can make things change. So, in the gym you can hardly do too much, and in this stage you constantly have to wait and see if you tick the next box, the next box, the next box. So, let's not put a timescale on it, but it's clear that he will be available, if things go as planned, this season. On whether he expects Isak to be back before the March international break. It will be somewhere around there, and then it's always the question if things go really well or if he gets a little bit of a setback. So, it will be around that period of time, end of March, start of April, when he's hopefully back with the group. When you're back with the group, it's not to say that you are ready to play, let alone start a game of football, because, again, he's been out for months, and the last time he's been out for months I think we could all see that it took him a while before he was the player we have signed from Newcastle. Liverpool told why Arne Slot should not be fired despite $670 million summer spending. Arne Slot has faced plenty of criticism this season amid Liverpool's disappointing Premier League campaign, but he should not be fired, according to a fellow Dutchman and ex-Real Madrid star. Rafael van der Vaart, one of Arne Slot's compatriots, has backed the Liverpool head coach to turn things around at Anfield after a difficult 2025-26 season. The Reds currently find themselves in 6th position in the Premier League, and face a fight to secure the top 5 finish that will almost certainly be enough to secure a place in next season's Champions League. 12 months ago, Liverpool was cruising to the Premier League title, and Slot was being praised for building on the work that Jurgen Klopp had done at Anfield. However, with things not going to plan this time around, questions have been raised over whether Slot has the capacity to get Liverpool back on track. Former Real Madrid and Tottenham star Rafael van der Vaart, though, is backing his fellow Dutchman to prove his doubters wrong. Arne Slot is the man that can turn things around at Liverpool, I believe this 100%, van der Vaart told Sky Bet. Spending £500 million in the summer gives you no guarantee that the team is going to be better, and we've seen this. You have to remember that when Liverpool were winning, a lot of the time it was a goal in the last minute. Football is sometimes a game of luck, and now they're in a phase where the luck is not on their side. I really hope that Liverpool stay calm and keep Slot because he can turn it around. Liverpool has improved in recent times and goes into this weekend's game against Nottingham Forest off the back of 4 wins in the last 5 games in all competitions. Explaining the team's upturn in form during a press conference on Thursday, Slot said, "Now, compared to a few weeks ago, I don't think a lot has changed. I think from the last 19 games, we've lost twice and twice we've lost in added time and, in my opinion, twice we did not deserve to lose both of those games. We didn't need yesterday, Arsenal's draw at Wolves, to know how difficult it is to win a Premier League game. We've experienced this season already a lot of times, and I think all the teams experienced this. That's what made the Premier League nicer this season and last season, that it's much more competitive than probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. We've improved compared to 3 or 4 months ago. I would even include the Bournemouth game, that Liverpool lost 3-2, because, apart from the goals we conceded, we had total control with dominance, we had a lot of chances, and the same could be said in the second half about Manchester City. We're in a much better place now than we were months ago, and there are 2 very simple reasons for that. There are more reasons, but the most simple 2 are how fit we are now compared with 3 or 4 months ago, and the second one is that we are much better in set pieces at the moment." Jermaine Pennant doubles down on John Terry Virgil van Dijk debate with a listen example. Jermaine Pennant is of the view that Virgil van Dijk is the best defender in Premier League history, and his comments earlier this week prompted a response from John Terry. Jermaine Pennant has doubled down on his view that Virgil van Dijk is the best defender in Premier League history. Pennant's comments earlier this week caused a stir, when he suggested that Van Dijk's longevity contributes to him being the number 1 Premier League centre-back of all time. "Look at the age of Van Dijk now, he's 34, Pennant said. At 34, Rio Ferdinand was at Queen's Park Rangers, while Van Dijk is at Liverpool playing competitive football, playing Champions League and still scoring. Do you know how many Premier League games John Terry played at 34? He was in the under-21s. Terry is a legend, but if you're saying as a defender 1v1, who would I want to run up against, I'd say John Terry every day of the week. I mean, since when did he come second in the Ballon d'Or?" Terry issued a response, urging Pennant to check his fact, as the former England captain pointed out that he played in all 38 of Chelsea's top-flight games during the 2014-15 season, the season he turned 34 years old, as the Stamford Bridge club won the Premier League. "This is a debate that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but, Pens, when you're on the radio and you're giving your opinion, you have to get the stats right," Terry said. "There's only one person who has got the most goals as a defender in Premier League history, and that's me. I also have the most clean sheets in history, and if you're comparing myself and Virgil, then I have more trophies than him as well. Also, you brought up a really good point. At the age of 34, in the season of 2014-15, I played every single minute of every game for Chelsea, winning the league in that season with Mourinho as our manager. So guys, this is over to you. I love the debate, I love being amongst it, I'm really proud of what I've done in the Premier League, but it's clearly over to you guys to settle the debate. I'm just happy to be amongst it." Pennant has now responded to Terry's repost, overlooking his original factual error, but sticking to his belief that Van Dijk is at the top of the pile. "I ain't got JT's cabinet, so I can't find my Community Shield medals or my FA Cup runners-up medals either," Pennant said. "This, Champions League runners-up medal, is my retaliation. Listen, let's get something straight here. JT, one of England's greatest centre-backs without shadow of a doubt, but my argument is that it's not about what you've won in your career. We're not talking about who's won what in what career. Yes, he's won more trophies, Scott Carson's won 4 Premier League titles and the Champions League. Does it make him better than Alisson?" Exclusive, Red Bull New York coach Michael Bradley explains how Jurgen Klopp targeted him early. Michael Bradley spoke fondly of Red Bull chiefs Jurgen Klopp and Mario Gomez at his first press conference as Red Bull New York coach amid excitement for the MLS new Red Bull New York. Get the team's new name correct. Coach Michael Bradley doesn't have deep ties to the Red Bull German/Austrian sporting empire. Perhaps that's what makes the 38-year-old's hiring so interesting. What did Red Bull head of global soccer Jurgen Klopp and technical director Mario Gomez see in the former USMNT midfielder? "I have very good relationships with both Jurgen and Mario," Bradley said. "I'm here thanks to a lot of people, and they are 2 of them. When I was done as an assistant coach of Norway in November of 2024, working under his father, Bob Bradley, for Sabek, the first person I spoke to was Mario," he said. "It was not long after Jurgen had got the job as head of global soccer. It wasn't anything official at my end, but it was a chance to connect with Mario, and hear a bit from him of where things were headed," Bradley continued, before mentioning that Joachim Low and New York sporting director Julian de Guzman became involved. By this point, Bradley was appointed head of New York Red Bulls 2 in MLS Next Pro, his first full-time coaching gig. In February, when Jurgen, Joachim, and Mario came through New York as they were giving Jurgen an initial look at some of the Red Bull clubs, I had an opportunity to spend the morning with those guys. What an opportunity that was. Bradley has some long-term ties to German football. He was a linchpin in Borussia Mönchengladbach's midfield from 2008 to 2011. He played under legendary German football manager Jurgen Klinsmann for the USMNT from 2011 to 2016. Besides that, he was a relative outsider. RBNY's last coach was longtime Bundesliga boss Sandro Schwarz, who took the club all the way to the MLS Cup final in 2024. When Schwarz was relieved of his duties after the team failed to make the playoffs in 2025 for the first time since 2009, Bradley was promoted. Now, he's happy to toe the company's Red Bull playing philosophy. The part of how Jurgen sees the game is really exciting, Bradley admitted. His vision for Red Bull going forward, how he wants to take the essence and fabric of what Red Bull football always has been, in terms of the intensity, the pressing, the counter-pressing, the aggression, and how he wants to combine that with football, with ideas of creating chances, in playing in a way that's more entertaining, aligns with mine. That fits to a T with how I see the game and my ideas. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them and the vision that they have for Red Bull Football Club. Virgil van Dijk makes gutted admission after Liverpool injury blow. Wataru Endo is set to be sidelined for Liverpool for a while after suffering a lower foot injury in last week's victory at Sunderland, with Virgil van Dijk saying the squad are gutted for their teammate. Virgil van Dijk has revealed that the entire Liverpool squad are gutted for Wataru Endo as the midfielder comes to terms with what is feared could be a prolonged spell on the treatment table. Endo, who was making only his first Premier League start of the season, sustained a lower foot injury during last week's 1-0 victory at Sunderland whilst clearing a dangerous cross in the second half. Having initially attempted to continue, the Japan captain was ultimately stretchered off, and head coach Arne Slot has so far been unable to shed any meaningful light on the nature of the problem when pressed during press conferences. Slot did, however, suggest on Saturday that there remained a possibility Endo could return before the season's conclusion, though he remained tight-lipped when asked whether the Samurai Blue skipper had suffered a broken ankle. Red skipper Van Dijk says he and his fellow players are deeply saddened to see the well-liked Endo sidelined for the foreseeable future. "It's a shame, we were all really gutted after the Sunderland game," Van Dijk said. "I had a similar injury when I was at Southampton, a foot injury, and it's not an easy one to take. But we are here for him, we are going to be together with him all the way and support him with everything he needs. It's not great, he is such an important and respected member of the team, he's one of the leaders and he always leads by example as well. On the pitch he gives everything and you saw that in the game. It's a big blow but we have to deal with it and we will. Hopefully it's not going to take too long but it looks like it will be a whilst." Liverpool manager Slot addressed the media following Saturday's commanding 3-0 FA Cup victory over Brighton, stating, "There is definitely a chance Endo can return before the end of the season, but he will be out for a whilst. We cannot say exactly how long yet. It's different with every injury. Sometimes you can make the diagnosis straight away, sometimes you need a few more days to see how it develops, and that last thing is true for Wata. But he will not be in the squad next week and he will not be in the squad next month. But we are hoping at the end of the season he has a chance to be with us again. But that also depends on the upcoming days. Is it broken? We don't know yet. That's the first lie I've made since I've been over here.